And here you are looking at some footage from videographer James Reynolds, the shot throughout the day today, just showing first here these incredibly high waves along northeastern Taiwan. Actually, some reports up to 8 meters high, so definitely very dangerous going for any shipping traffic out here, obviously, as there's currently a typhoon blowing through your area. But also the rainfall totals have just been staggering. Just towards the east of Taipei, the mountain ranges, over 600 millimeters has been recorded today on the 1st of August. So absolutely incredible amount of rain. Definitely flooding is going to be a major issue, but also landslides in some of the steeper elevations. And then winds continue to kick up to 73 knot gusts have been recorded in Taiwan alone. Let's take a look at the satellite picture here. You can see the storm is still blowing off there towards the north. Actually, a very distinct eye wall forming up. But not just this storm here is being a major threat. We also have our other one off there towards the north, just along the southern portions of Kyushu. Now it's moving off towards the west, though, into the South China Sea, and possibly going to be affecting Jeju-do going into the next 12 to 24 hours as it quickly rushes off. They're actually moving forward about 35 kilometers per hour right now. It did bring some severe winds here across the southern portions of Kyushu, though. I actually saw some reports in Kagoshima, wind gusts about 140 kilometers per hour, and also sustained winds in Okinawa, not really from this storm, but actually more or less from Saola, up to 100 kilometers per hour in this area. So absolutely, the entire west or the eastern portion of the East China Sea here, all along the southern Japanese islands over towards Taiwan, and even the northern portions of Luzon are absolutely lit up with tropical systems. And let's look back in towards Taiwan at a video coming out of Taipei, because even in the cities, you're not out of the woods either, seeing some heavy rainfall and definitely these windy conditions. So with that said, urban flooding is going to be very high at risk into the coming days. So let's take a look at this enhanced infrared imagery. You can see these swirls continuing to band here, all those higher cloud tops. Taiwan's radar is currently really indicating that with this very distinct eye wall forming up here just towards the west of Miyagi-jima and also just towards the east of Taiwan. James Reynolds is out here towards the northeastern portions where he has been absolutely seeing these intense and devastating rainfalls throughout the day today. Well, with this eye wall continuing to push onshore, storm likely is tracking here, just clipping the northeastern coast before moving off towards China. That eye wall will definitely be moving along the coastlines, bringing that heavy rains and winds with it. Let's take a look at Japan's radar imagery currently, because one thing very unique about today is that there has been two distinct circulation centers, the Saola down here towards the south, but also Damrey off here towards the north. And if we take a look back a few hours ago, you can see that it is fairly clear that an unprecedented scenario is currently taking place. You actually can see two tropical systems on this one radar imagery coming out of Kyushu and also down there towards the southwestern Japanese islands. This is all from Japan's meteorological agency's radars. The storm here and also the one off there towards the north. So with that said, where are both of these systems going to be going? Well, let's first take a look at Saola, because this likely can be affecting eastern China. They absolutely devastated with flooding already region here. And as the storm continues into track into that direction, it definitely will be bringing this heavy precipitation with it, further exacerbating the floods out here in China. It likely is going to be making landfall well south of Shanghai here. I know a lot of people have been asking me about if it's going to be affecting up here. I actually got to watch more about Damrey off here towards the east. This storm likely making landfall into about Thursday morning. 12 UTC is really into about your evening hours, and then right about here should be sometime about Thursday morning at making landfall as a typhoon as it continues to push onshore. But not only got to worry about this storm there in China, but let's look off towards the north, because Damrey will continue to push off there towards the west through the Yellow Sea, likely clipping Jeju-do here before making landfall there in northeastern China. And the problem with this one is it very well could bring some heavy rainfall across much of this area, where you definitely, absolutely, I knew it doesn't sound like a broken record, do not need the rainfall in this area, as you have been just absolutely devastated by floods there in Beijing. Over 80 reports of deaths in the past week alone due to continuous rainfall. So with this storm working in that direction, it definitely is going to be falling on already saturated grounds. Now, one thing I do want to note is that I do think that a small Fujiwara effect might take place here. Now, it's really kind of being overcompensated by the forward momentum of Damrey here as it's just cruising at about 35 kilometers per hour. Now, though, it might actually lean a little bit towards the west. That's what I'm thinking of, especially by looking at the streamline analysis. Given the strong overall background flow going around Saola here, this storm is just absolutely taking up the general air circulation. It might lean a little bit towards the left, but then definitely still going to be swinging back around once it gets into that upper level winds. Very strong in that area across the northeastern portions of China, and then swing off towards the north. Meanwhile, though, Saola will continue to track here, turn towards the left, and then run into China. So that's looking at this. Let's take a look at the rest of the Western Pacific. We have Damrey here moving off there towards the northwest. Saola moving slowly off towards the north, but look at this area right in here. Some of the models are actually picking up on possible cyclonic development with this. Even at this time, it does look like something very weak might be starting to spin up there just towards the northwest of the Marianas Islands. There's a very strong high pressure in place just off there towards the north, right in this area. So this area is not going to be pushing off in that direction. It might very well end up leaning and turning towards the left, following in Damrey's place. So got to watch this area as well very closely, even though we already have these two other tropical systems continuing to blow up here, and even across the Philippines. I mentioned it briefly earlier that they're still being affected here, and if you remember back until Sunday, there was that cyclonic circulation that blew through Manila. That combined with the continuous monsoonal flow does look like, unfortunately and sadly, about 14 deaths have so far been recorded. On the good side, over 100 people have been rescued from various scenarios, including capsizing ferries and fishing boats. So good news with that, although still a very devastating and deadly situation continuing to occur across the Philippines with that monsoonal flow continuing to push on shore there. And lastly, I do want to end on this here as well. This is just a clear indication of how hard it is to forecast typhoon tracks. Look at this storm moving off towards Miyakijima. This is Saola here with Taiwan there on the left, and then it stops and basically just turns there towards the left, averting the southern Japanese islands, and now it's pushing directly towards the northeastern portions of Taiwan. You can see it very clearly there in the last images of the frame there. So just one thing to document here, that the storm has had wobbling characteristics. So definitely you want to continue to track closely with your local WMO approved agency here through the coming days. But that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at WesternPacificWeather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them in the comment box below. Also, here are the annotations once again on the corners of your screen on the various video sources I used today in this video update. And also, please continue to check in with WesternPacificWeather.com. We have our links page there for many of the sources I used here as well. And definitely continuing to update our Twitter and Facebook accounts. So you can follow me at Robert Speta or follow the website at Western Pacific Weather. So thanks again for watching. Please continue to stay safe out there and have a great day. Bye.